Hello again, thanks for joining me today. This is episode 2 of Use That Commute, and today's topic is social media making us less sociable? Just before we go into it, I'll add a little preface. I'm recording this 2 days after episode 1 because it's Friday today. It's the last day of term. Well, it's half term, so that's autumn 1 completed, a working education, if you haven't seen the first episode. So when you see this, it'll be the following Wednesday, and then there's a little bit of continuity, and I'll do another one on the first week back. I've got a week off, by the way. Bit pointless information for you, but there you go. So okay, firstly, I'll point out that I'm Generation X. I'm 52, and there's only one other generation that I've seen the transition from the analog age through to the digital age, as in now, and we're still transitioning, and that's boomers. Boomers have seen that. I'm not going to leave you out of that. So we've been able to see firsthand the total difference between living in an analog age and then seeing what it's like when we move into the digital age. And this is my real world experience. It's not based on what I've read or any articles, it's just what I've seen personally. So I'll give you a few examples. So for instance, in the analog age, back in say the 80s, 90s, you were meeting up with friends. Want to go down the pub, going to have a night out, or just meeting in town, going for a bite to eat, or just meeting up with friends in general. You'd use your landline, wouldn't you? You'd make a call and you'd arrange to meet, and that was it. You were meeting. There's no text messages, there's no WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. You'd just go and meet, and that was it. Today it's quite easily done to cancel, and that can be done with a really quick message. I'm going to be late, or I'm going to cancel. And then a lot of the time people do back out, in my experience. If you have a group of friends meeting up, can't make it tonight, whatever, okay mate, no worries. So could be one reason why there's less human interaction. Another example I'll give is supermarkets. Prior to the digital age, we didn't have self-checkouts where you would have an interaction with another human being, albeit a really small one. Hey love, you alright? Do you want a bag? Bags were free then, by the way. It cost a penny. Traffic's not great today either. It was better yesterday, I know that. Anyway, I digress. But now we have self-checkouts, and I will say I'm guilty of this. If I'm in the self-checkout queue, let's say they've got six tills, self-checkout ones, even might be 3 or 4 deep in the queue, and then say I'm at Aldi, I love to shop at Aldi, we are now opening till number 2. I'll still wait in the self-checkout rather than make me wait, chance it, and see if I can get first in queue for the checkout that's got a human being interacting. So there's one less human interaction there. Another example is if you went out on a night out, or there was a pub, and there was lots more pubs back then, a hell of a lot more. You would sit in the pub and you would talk. You would listen to what somebody's got to say, you digest that information, and you give a response based on what that person's just said to you. Lots of human interaction. Compare that, and I'm not saying this is indicative for everybody who sits in the pub or a restaurant, but I've seen this in my friendship group, and I've seen this and I've witnessed other groups of people doing this. People who are together in the same group on the phones. Let's swap lanes here. On the phones, and actually sending either messages or memes or little videos to each other while they're sat there. So there's less interaction there. And on the face of it, it may seem like a small thing. Just going to swap lanes here. But is it so that these lesser interactions with other human beings causes us to lose that ability to actually listen to another human being and to give an informed response on what they've just said? And another one could be is shopping in major town centres, and particularly in the northern ones, particularly Bolton. It's not the same as it was in the 90s or the 2000s, where if you wanted a particular thing, you would get up, you would go into town, you would buy that thing, and the chances were very high that whatever you wanted was available. Now, through the decline of Bolton town centre particularly, a lot of the time it's not worth the effort going into town, because you won't find what you're looking for. And yes, that's due to online shopping, but it is easier to shop online and buy the thing you want. Sometimes you can get it same day due to Amazon, or the next day at the very least, or a couple of days. So why save yourself the trouble of messing about going in town? You're probably not going to find it anyway. But in that trip to town, and a lot of the time it will be more than that, going into town to buy a particular item or items. You might meet a friend or a relative. I'm going to often meet my mother in town, or my friends. You go out, buy the things you want, bit of retail therapy, might go for a little bite to eat or a coffee or something like that, and it's gone. All those little interactions where you're moving through groups of people, you know, hello, excuse me, or hold the door open for somebody, bit of a chit chat with a checkout girl or a shop assistant. All that seems to me to be being slowly eroded away. So the question, or the hypothesis, it's the end of the term, forgive me, I'm very tired, that I would put forward is the ability to interact with other human beings, as in real time, in the flesh. Is it like use it or lose it? And a comparable to that would be going to the gym, which I've done a lot throughout my life. If you don't keep on training that muscle, it atrophies, it gets weaker. And any gym goers know this. You know, you can spend a year working hard in the gym, building up your strength, your endurance and your cardiovascular ability. You can spend a week out of the gym and you go back and you feel like you've never been in the gym in your whole life. Right, I'm just going to have to concentrate on... I'm just getting off M60 onto the old St. Peter's Way. There we go. So, are we losing that skill? Is it a case of we're less sociable because that's how the human race is evolving? Or are we losing the skill? And we interpret that as, I'm done with people in today. I can't be bothered with people. I'm just going to stay and I'm not going to bother. I'm going to decline that invitation. I'm not going to bother phoning whoever, a friend or a relative. And by the way, it's just a hypothesis on my part. Because I do see a lot of change in young people themselves, particularly the last few generations. Whether COVID and the lockdown has played a part in that, I don't know. They just don't seem to have the same presence and awareness as they once did. Also, another problem could be with that is social media, particularly Reels. It's everything now, isn't it? dopamine receptors are fried because you're constantly topping it up. Instant gratification. I can recall when Facebook first arrived on the scene, and it was a bit of a revelation because people were saying, oh, well, I've got in touch with such and such a body from school. I haven't seen them since 1980 or 1970 something. And it was a way of catching up with people from long ago, and you'd share photos and all the rest of it. And it's not the same anymore. The disparity between what it was when it started is completely different. It's turned into kind of a diary, hasn't it? Where people are more than willing to share the trials and tribulations online with people who are virtually strangers. And I think it's even gone a step beyond that now. It's more like a dirty diary. It's a place for people to rant, lots of negativity, and add in that just a hell of a lot of advertising on now, and it seems more like a marketing tool, but rather a tool for people to keep up, to keep in touch, to share happy memories. And then there's also Reels in the Facebook. We've got Reels and Instagram. I don't know about Snapchat. I don't really know what goes on. I don't use that. I have used Instagram in the past. I don't know more. A good friend of mine who has an online presence, who's a fitness instructor, he was telling me not so long ago, when he looked at his stats in Instagram, that the average retention rate for somebody watching one of his reels was 3 seconds. 3 seconds. So he knows from that he's got to be get it in snappy, get his message across very quickly. Otherwise, scroll away. So this is, I believe, contributes to people's inability to focus. And in turn, that decreases one's ability or skill, if that's the case, to interact in real time with another human being, because they haven't got the ability to listen to another human being anymore, take in that information, digest it, and give an informed response. There may be other factors involved in that. We're still in a transitional phase, aren't we? You know, the digital age is not really finished, because now we have AI. We have the first large language model 2022, I think it was, ChatGPT. I may be corrected on that one. So even that is in its infancy. It's still evolving really quickly. And you've got very convincing AI videos that are very, very hard to discern from real life. So a lot of what we read on social media, as you all know, you have to take with a pinch of salt, be it critical thinking. And now you've got the AI videos on top of that. But the point I'm kind of making with that is, in the AI, you've got AI bots, you've got AI chat bots and AI friends and companions. And I was reading the article the other day, and I think it might be a Japanese company, I may be mistaken, but the article was referring to an AI friend or companion which you kind of wear around your neck as a necklace, aka the old little digital Tamagotchi. So those of you remember Tamagotchi, it was a little device you had around your neck, and you had to, feed it and give it love or whatever. Otherwise it would die. You would need to keep it alive. Now, considering the complexities of the large language model, whether it's Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever it is, it's getting to the stage where they're starting to become discernible from actual human beings. Just like the AI video, you can't really tell what's real or not. And I think that's somewhat of a concern. As you get generations of young people coming through, they're not going to know the difference between an analog and the digital age. It's just something they will read about as a part of history. Is that healthy for young people? Because yes, AI chatbots and companions are very convincing, and I'm sure there could be some benefits in there to someone who's lonely, or maybe they find some emotional support from it. But it's not a human being at the end of the day. It's an artificial intelligence. So my thoughts are, and I've been thinking about this quite a lot, and not just for the purposes of this episode of UseThatCommute. Where's it headed? Where do we stop? Are we going to say, whoa, hang on a minute, this is not right? Or we're going to have certain groups of people and break off and go and live in a commune, and where digital devices and the internet, etc., basically going to be outlawed. Don't get me wrong, there's many benefits to the internet and AI, absolutely. If you're able to leverage the power of it, then it's completely different. I think there's been no time in history where they can become a millionaire literally at quite a young age. You've got 21-year-olds out there who've become multimillionaires through leveraging the power of being able to create an online presence. And young people are very adept at it because they've grown up with it, they're born into it. They're much difficult, or not possibly, no offence to the Gen Xers or the Boomers. If you're born into it, you take to it quite naturally. Children are very pliable, they learn really quickly, don't they? It's going dark a lot quicker now. What time are we on now? It's only just gone 3:15, and it's drawing in now. Clocks go back. Clocks go back this weekend. So yeah, clocks go back this weekend. So food for thought. And as I mentioned earlier, these are only my personal thoughts and opinions, and based on my observations, this is what I've been seeing, this is what I've been witnessing. On one hand, what a time to be alive, where artificial intelligence and computer chips and microchips and the computing power, and now we've got quantum computing, is advancing at what seems an exponential rate. It's absolutely mind-blowing. We've basically got supercomputers in our pocket 24/7. But my thoughts are, is it causing us to lose focus, to lose presence? And that's where our reality is, isn't it? It's in this moment. It always is. That's where the happy times are. They always happen in the moment. And I would love to know other people's thoughts on this, other takes and opinions. Yeah, sure, they're only opinions, but it's quite easy to be influenced by an online presence, because clicks mean money, don't they? My experience tells me the internet is not the same as it was. I first accessed the internet, I think it was around 1998, and it was this whole wealth of information you could access, but a lot of it seems, I mean, when you search for something on Google now, a lot of the top hits are just sponsored hits. It's a serious money-making machine, just like Facebook is, and Instagram and Snapchat and all the rest of it, and clicks mean money. So it's hard to kind of find the answers to what's really going on, unless you're of a mind to leverage the power of it, not be drawn in, not to get addicted, and become a consumer. I mean, consumerism's huge, isn't it? I've been saying to some friends the other day, you could be talking about a certain item that they want or you want, and you bring it up in conversation, and then the next thing it pops up on your phone, doesn't it? And believe it or not, you may think I'm being paranoid here, but I've been in my flat on my own, and I've been thinking about a certain thing that I want to buy. I haven't said it out loud because I'm on my own, unless I'm talking to myself, but I don't think I am. And it pops up on my phone, and a couple of times it's blew my mind. It took me aback. You think, am I going crackers? I mean, it could be just a coincidence. It could just be pure chance if it happened once, but it's not. It's happened a few times. And I did have the thought creeping in my head, have they got some sort of device in mobile phones now that's able to read your brain waves? I don't know, but it does seem quite bizarre. And I'm sure there's many people out there that have experienced it. If you're aware of this, if you're aware that mobile devices with the access to all this, at times absolutely useless information, and you're aware how corrosive it can be to the human brain, then fair play to you, fair play. And if you're able to leverage its power and use it to your benefit, even better. But I do fear that lots of young people, new generations, won't necessarily see that. So, a lot to digest there, isn't there? And forgive me if my thoughts seem incoherent. I'm very tired. This is the longest term in the academic year, autumn 1, about 7 weeks. I know lots of people will say, oh, these bloody teachers have got it easy, all them holidays you get. But believe you me, you need them holidays, you need that break. It's not as if you can, you're in any fit state to go jetting off. You spend this week recovering for the most part, recovering and getting ready for the next term, which can quite often be even more tiring because clocks going back, and then you've got the nights joining. You get up in the morning, it's pitch black. You're coming home, it's pitch black. But I do love it. I do love it. I'm not saying I don't. So, if you've got any thoughts of your own, or any opinions on is social media making us less sociable, please do let me know. One fears one's talking to oneself. Well, we all do that, don't we, now and again? Even if we don't say it out loud, we do it in our bloody heads. I know I do. Hell of a lot of the time. So, I'm nearly home now. I have 4 minutes left on the sat nav. This hasn't been a great commute. I set off a bit later today. It's last day of term, so you just want to kind of say, bye to all your colleagues. Have a nice half term. All the rest of it. So we're nearly home. Have a lovely week off. Need some fuel actually. Do you know what? I've been testing the capacity and the MPG of the tank. I'm currently on, I've had my last full tank, and I've got out of it 505 miles. And that's quite good, isn't it? I think that was 68 quid. Well, it's quite good, considering that petrol was 44p a litre when I started driving in 92. And now it's close to triple that, hasn't it? But now you've got electric cars as well. That seems to be the next transition, doesn't it? That is a really hot potato. A lot of people I speak to, could make that the subject of a future episode. So, 2 minutes away from home. And yet again, if you've stuck with me and listened to me for this long, thank you. It's much appreciated. I do have another topic in mind for next week's episode, so I would absolutely love it if you could join me. If you could join me again. So to summarise, is social media making us less sociable? I would say yes, absolutely it is. Even though we've got the capability to connect with any other human being on the planet more or less instantaneously and speak to them in real time, face to face, to me the world seems more disconnected than ever. But opinions vary. So thanks for joining me today, and I shall see you on episode 3. I'll see you there.